Age.
Has Captain Marvel started filming? Is Season 2 of Runaways my most anticipated show of this upcoming year? And do we have a show chock full of pride? This is Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior, Merry Marvellites.
Yay.
We are back from a Black Panther extravaganza last week where Markia ran the game on all things Wakanda, and I learned things from Georgia while watching, and it was magical. And I'm glad to be back with you, Marvelites. We have a very special show today. Every week, I want to talk Runaways more than we have time to. So this week, we're going to bring Runaways to you with two members of the Pride. But before we introduce them, I have to say that we are at Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from the streets of California, because the Runaways. And this is episode 164, which is crazy to me. You can find us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News. You can find us at youtube.com/Marvel Movie News or at the Popcorn Talk Network. You can find us through Popcorn Talk's website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at Popcorn Talk Network. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Marvel News Show. Follow us, like us, and if you tweet a live link to the show whilst we are live, Aunt Manthony in the booth will retweet you.
Guys, I try to keep him at bay, but the pride just took me over. I'm sorry. Ryan's got a mean punch. My jaw's still hurting.
I went full Micro Machine to get through this because I want to talk Runaways so much today. So, today, we are joined by the ever-lovely Maria Menounos.
Oh, that's me.
Where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maria McCarty. That's MarkiaMcCarty. And as Coy was saying, last week was everything you need to nerd about Black Panther. So yeah, check out that episode number 163.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm trying to update these on IMDb, and I'm like, good God, has this show been on for a long time? And as a Runaway Spectacular, we are joined for the first time meeting you, friend of friends.
Yes, it's a very small world.
It's crazy. Angel. It is so good to have you here.
Thank you.
So excited to talk about Runaways with you. Where can they find you on social media?
I'm Angel Parker on Twitter and Angel Parker LA on Instagram. And that's all I do. I'm old. I can't keep up.
There's a lot. It's a lot out there.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I used to throw my Snapchat out there, and then I realized I do it like once a week. So
that's not, yeah.
And some people live on Snapchat, so you're not keeping up in their game. It's
I
a
know.
whole thing.
I mean, I have one. It's Angel Parker, but you won't see nothing.
And joined once again by the awesome Ryan Sands. Where can they find you, man?
I'm at the Ryan Sands on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So today we're gonna power through the
And
news.
along with being an actor, he is an artist. So check out his drawings.
Thank you. I draw a little bit.
Yes.
Also a diehard Marvelite.
Yes.
Ryan is a guest that I have kept up with on social media in a way that I'm like, oh, dude has the same opinions. Oh, he knows this. Oh, and he's on the Runaways. Like, always nice to see people that are invested in the source material before, during, and after. So welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So this week we have a smattering of fairly small news with some trinkets of good stuff, and I want to start off at first by saying Logan not getting enough Oscar love.
Yes, let's start with that. No, let's do, because I was like incensed, and then I was like, okay, don't tweet out anger, because just say what's good about it. It's like, great, adapted screenplay. I love that. It's a fantastic story. I'm putting that out there. The very fact, it's like they want to, when they consider something to be genre, and we're talking horror, comedy, superhero, which can be horror and comedy at the same time, and it's like they put on blinders. It's like it does not exist for them. When you look at Thor Ragnarok and like the innovation, how gorgeous that is, and that doesn't even get a technical. What is this world?
You know who got the same number of noms? Boss Baby. That's what hurt me, is when Boss Baby and Logan are on the same, and Wonder Woman getting nothing. Like, Wonder Woman, I think we will look back, this will be like the biggest snub, is Wonder Woman was such a landmark achievement for the year, for what it represented, for the quality of the film, for DC. Like, Wonder Woman did all of the things right, and more than we expected, and to not get any, that just, it felt...
I mean, at least some technicals.
Something. Suicide Squad's an Oscar-winning film. God damn.
Yes, but I have to say, that makeup for Killer Croc, that's, they kind of knocked that out.
Suicide Squad being ranked above Wonder Woman in Oscar nods is not acceptable, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it's I echo Markia's sentiments 100%. The everything under what's really cool about fans of the it's like to say the superhero genre, but it is so faceted. I mean, you have Ant-Man can exist, you know, under that umbrella, just like Deadpool, but those are extremely different films. Logan's under that umbrella, which is an extremely different film, which is different from the tone of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a space opera. You know, there's a lot of diversity of, you know, the themes and tones under this one umbrella. So many different approaches to it. So it shouldn't be just, you know, looked at as this whole superhero thing.
But you know, they give those awards to movies that people don't like, people that don't see. I mean, half of those movies, you haven't even seen them, so they don't care about what actually happened. That's why they give them the awards, so people have heard of them.
It. Like,
and then they'll actually,
heard about.
Oh, I think it won an award. I'll go see that now.
So it's like a participation trophy?
Exactly.
It's like, hey, good job.
Early
Didn't
March,
see it.
there's nothing out.
Right.
Early March, they're like, we'll go sneak that in. We'll go catch
let's get some of the, you know, it's winter. Let's get some people out to the movie theater.
Let's have Gary Oldman talk at us for 2 hours.
Yes, they've already seen all of these movies, so, you know, okay, go out and do something arty, watch something arty, you know.
And like the lack of the biopic love and this like the same stuffy feeling of film. Like, I'm a film guy, but I don't need to see the same movie win an Oscar every time. And I don't need to see Meryl Streep get her 19th and Daniel Day-Lewis get his 27th. Like, I'd like to see it mixed up. As I'm not taken away from either of those.
No.
They're
I love Meryl
fantastic
Streep.
actors,
Viola Davis should have won that year, but you know, I love Meryl Streep.
And like wanting other things to be nominated doesn't take away from the things that were, and I think that's very important. So that's why I don't lead with like
or
hating my
create
tweets.
a category for the genre. Maybe do that. I mean, there are enough that are released each year. They could make a category for.
And the Oscar for Best
I like
Blockbuster
that
goes
idea.
to
Yes, or something.
something. And then you have
like
like
that a
different
lot.
types of creators, like different types of presenters. You could have a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So I always lead with Black Panther, but I thought we both had like,
No.
Is
we
there
had
a
this.
Black Panther fan on the show?
I think there. Well, you know, the reason I lead with Black Panther.
Ollie's the Black Panther.
Yeah, Marquia did not talk about Black Panther at all last week. None whatsoever.
And there's still so much more we can talk about.
You guys, we're going to the premiere next week. We are so excited.
Oh my
God.
I'm already like, what am I gonna wear? What am I gonna do? Can I do this on the red carpet?
Yes.
I'm so excited.
That universal
that.
sound was equal parts jealousy and hype.
Yes.
Those of you listening on iTunes, that was the
Yes.
sound of jealousy.
Well,
hype.
that's our spouses who can't come because they only gave us
Yes,
one thing, and
that's
they're
tough.
like, we're going to. I'm like, well, no.
Yeah, that was a tough conversation to have.
I'm like, guess what? Guess who got invited to Black Panther? Oh, me.
Yeah.
Just
It's like, oh, it's good to be Marvel.
Mark Ruffalo FaceTime and accidentally.
Yeah, right.
So with Marquia's boundless zeal for Black Panther, we have to start the show there. And Marquia, I want to just let you run because last week was just awesome. So Black Panther, we have the Forrest Whitaker quote, we have the Nakia feature, we have what do you want to talk about Black Panther? Because we only have 3 more weeks until you're gonna have seen the whole thing.
I know. And actually, I'm seeing it next week.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah.
So now there's just
Yeah.
one jealous person at this table. There's just one clinging to the side of the table, not knowing what the world will be.
Yeah. But yeah, there was a Black Panther clip that was released. I've read about this clip. I have not watched it.
So we all get to watch it together.
So we're all gonna watch it
Yeah.
together because this was very tough. This was very tough for me not to. But I was like, wait, let me do it on the show. I know what it's about, but I haven't seen it. And it goes into Wakandan technology. Of course, remember Wakanda Design Group, of which Shuri, who is played by Letitia Wright, she is Shuri. Sorry, I'm flustered. And it has her utilizing that technology and showing that in a form for Black Panther. Like his suit absorbs kinetic energy, apparently. Ooh, so let's watch it. Okay, let's watch it.
I love that suit so much.
Let's go!
His suit's vibranium. What are you doing?
Hey, look at your suit. You've been taking bullets, charging it up with kinetic energy.
What?
Yes.
Charging it up.
Charging it.
So you shoot at it
And the
and
force.
it gets,
Oh,
it
that's
gets
amazing.
power from it.
Oh, you know something's about to.
That's where that comes from. Nice.
See, award for best car flip. Like that.
There it is. There's my award season.
Yes.
Oh, that was
And
great.
now a special look at Black Panther.
Okay, here
So
it is. It's supposed to be some more scenes and.
All right.
I've seen aliens.
I cannot wait for this album.
From the sky.
Like Kendrick putting it together.
I love that they have him doing the full thing.
How much more are you hiding?
All the things.
My son, it is your time. You
Oh,
get
she's
to
gorgeous.
decide what kind of king you are going to be.
Marquia, you're seeing this next week?
Yeah, I'm seeing it on the 30th.
So just like in the theater, this is the only trailer everybody's silent for because of reverence. I just gotta point that out.
Yeah. Oh,
The
so
lighting, the color,
gorgeous.
the cinematography.
I waited my entire life for this.
Yes.
The world's gonna start over. I'ma burn it all. What happens now determines what happens to the rest of the world.
Oh, hello. Oh,
All right, you know what? YouTube, we were silent for 2
Yes,
minutes, and I'm sure you
sorry.
heard. I'm sure YouTube scanners heard us watch that trailer in silence, but understand that was out of love. Don't take us down.
Yeah.
I can't. Like every time I see that trailer, it just takes me aback
Ooh.
more, and that's I've probably seen that trailer as many times as I've seen Spider-Man: Homecoming, and that's a lot because I'm
It's
bored.
really good. It's really good.
so good. I can't even at this
So I
point.
wasn't here last week when you got to break the news that this is the fastest selling pre-sale Marvel in history. 'Cause
Yes.
that news broke last week. So since I wasn't here, I just want to say that Civil War held the record before, and Civil War was effectively an Avengers film. Let's call it what it was. That was a movie that had 10 films leading up to it, and this movie is one character that was in 12-ish minutes of that very movie, and dude has faster pre-sale. So I gotta give credit to like what this trailer did for cinema. Period.
They have a lot of conservative estimates for this. They're
In the billions.
I'm saying, well, I say $1 billion after the second weekend. I'm just saying, it's going
Swinging
to
for the fences.
smash everything. And if I'm wrong, it'll clock in at like 700 something.
Right, like, oh no,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. It made all its
Yeah.
money back
It's
in a day.
Oh, shame. Yeah, but yes, with Forrest Whitaker, he dropped a little tidbit for us where he said that there's going to be cosmos-related things that are going to happen in Black Panther. That Black Panther is going to take us to space, which makes so much sense because we have like Infinity War coming around, and then going back with like Wakanda in general. Like their technology it's decades. Practically like 1,000 years in front of like everybody else. The very fact that Wakanda could hold the earth hostage if it wanted to, but they just want to be left alone, it describes these people so well. But yes, for instance, there is one part and it involves Ramonda. There's this skirmish that's happening, and she literally says, "Why don't you just do a surgical nuclear strike from space?" and then walks away.
Why don't you?
To take
Just do this.
Why not?
Like we get to
Yeah.
escalate like power sets. We get to escalate like every series needs escalation, and Black Panther's coming right before Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like this has to be as powerful as it is, and like what a perfect character because like in the Illuminati, Black Panther's always like the quasi voice of reason, and Black Panther's always the one pulling strings. So if this movie is what Black Panther is in the comics, like what? Like I just
Did
I'm
I
so
mention
excited.
we get to see it on Monday? Did
I just the sounds of jealousy are back in my head.
I know.
See, actually, that's my question. What was that like? What was that moment you found out?
Oh, well, we text each other right away.
And it was the conversation was happening, of course. Like, you think we're gonna get
Do
to
you think we're gonna get I'd already maybe not sent a couple emails asking, can I please
Yeah, it hasn't
go?
been confirmed just yet.
We had already just hoped and prayed because we got to go to Thor, or we were invited
Yeah,
to
we
Thor.
were
We were
working.
still shooting
Yeah.
Runaways, but so some cast members that got wrapped early, not me and Ryan, but I had my outfit and everything, and I was like, well, I'll just use
Yeah.
this outfit for Panther, and then now I'm like, no, I gotta step
Yeah.
it up.
Yes.
Step it up. What am I gonna wear?
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's gonna be the Emerald City meets the Kingdom of Zamunda is
Yes.
what it's gonna be like.
I mean, there might be
going
a
to
lion,
Black Panther.
a lion coat. Just,
Yeah.
You know, I might have something. I might be wearing a crown. Who knows? I don't know. Something.
I couldn't be more excited for this movie, and that's saying a lot because it's been like every year Marvel just ups their game, and I
Yes.
never. This is the one movie I was at my mom's theater. It's an AMC, and they were playing Stan Lee footage talking about Black Panther from the '70s to now.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And that moment in an AMC, the most mainstream of movie theaters, to see just kids looking at Stan Lee in the 70s talk about Black Panther was the most transformative. Like, how did we land here?
Well, I'm just glad they waited this long so they could do it right.
Yeah. Oh, they are doing it, yes.
You don't do this on a shoestring budget,
no, no, not at all.
No, they're going to make their money back first weekend. We already said that.
Yeah, unless it's something like really small and character specific, kind of like how Dirty Laundry was for the Punisher. It's like, I could be okay with something like that. But
I'd watch a political drama about T'Challa, not even Black Panther up. Like, I'd be there. If they want to make like a second movie be like Logan sized, I'm in.
Yeah, because he's like Mr. Contingency Plan. I was not kidding when I said he's Marvel's Batman. So.
Yeah, 100%. He's Batman and Bond in a Black Panther suit.
But he doesn't have nipples, does he?
Oh,
Joel Schumacher's
no Panther nipples.
All right.
Six?
I know. What do you have? Oh my God.
What do you have a set? Because that concerns me.
Oh no.
Thanks, Angel. Thanks a lot, Angel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everyone, for that visual. I started it. I apologize.
Chadwick Boseman, we apologize specifically for Black Panther nipples. Who knows what might happen?
But yeah, Forrest Whitaker said to Variety that, you know, what they could expect when Ryan Coogler has his take on the King of Wakanda. And it's like, we're going to see not only travel, but things that take us into outer space and the things that take us into a James Bond space. It's a really unique amalgamation of different things that come together in an exciting way. Wow. It's, okay, just real quick, one of the things that really gets me with Black Panther is like, we get so excited. It's like, yes, it's Black Panther. It's like, yes, it's Angela Bassett. But we have Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
We have Forrest Whitaker. And it's Forrest Whitaker. He's an adjective.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
You have Michael B. Jordan. You have a lot. I mean, you got this is the black literati out there. We got to hear about it.
Somebody got me on Instagram the other day. I'm swiping through and I'm looking at this cast picture where they're all standing. You know, I've seen this picture before, and there's Grace Jones. I'm like, wait, Grace. Oh, hold up, there's Drake. Somebody just like straight photoshopped
everybody else.
I'm like, I don't remember Grace Jones. That's dope.
That's funny, but you had to take a second. But you had to take a second
because she was wearing something crazy, and you know, from wherever they took her picture.
I've been calling this the cast of thes because it's the Forrest Whitaker, the Michael B. Jordan. Like, this is a cast of titans. So, like, whenever I think of the cast, there's a lot of thes right before those names, and I can't wait.
Chadwick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Angela Bassett. So, since we have so much news, we have to move on. Since I hope last week at least you like a 10% like satiation mark.
Yes.
I know it's hard. Come May when Deadpool season comes in, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be messy.
We're gonna have to start every show with Deadpool.
Yeah, it's just so. Guys, I watched the trailer again. So we talked about Logan, and Adapted Screenplay is a fantastic nomination. The fact that it was nominated for an award that is amongst the top 5, it wasn't just a technical award, which is also impressive for any genre. Adapted Screenplay, I think, is well earned. This is a story that was powerful in all genres. It appeased comic fans, movie fans, cinephiles. So I'm really proud of this nomination. I just wish personally there were more, but I'm so stoked for Mangold and Hugh Jackman. Like, this is great.
Yeah, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
But Sir Patrick Stewart is Sir Patrick Stewart. But yes, this was a really good nom.
And we also have the first trailer for Cloak and Dagger out this week. Now, Cloak and Dagger is, I'm going to keep kissing up to Runaways. Next to Runaways, the show that I was the most like, they're going to make that? And wondered about it. And Runaways it's so good.
It's so good.
So if that's the bar that's set now, then good luck, Cloak and Dagger. I'm rooting for you.
And this is your first time seeing it, right, Coy?
Yeah, I've been trapped in airports like the terminal.
Everybody watching while the clock's still ticking. I'ma make a move, I don't need no rhythm. I'ma make a move, I don't need no rhythm. I ain't never on the scene.
For iTunes people, just watch the trailer along with us.
I think it's the first time we've just admitted defeat. We're like, no, we're gonna watch this.
Right.
Now, I like that they're starting with kids as the forefront, like the Ultimate Edition did of Cloak and Dagger.
I had a day, and it's possible I started this party too early.
Hey, don't say.
Jacket. Is it ruined?
Do you know, like, when they have America parties in, like, other parts of the world, they always make sure they have red Solo cups? Apparently, we are so known for that.
We're pretty branded. And the age demographic, we were talking before the show about Runaways and the youth being the market that reads the comics. I want more people to read the 70s Cloak and Dagger that wouldn't have, and this is a good bridge.
Yeah, or at least the Cloak and Dagger that did a crossover with Runaways.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. TV audiences.
Oh, yeah, they showed up in ours.
And the guy. How about you?
Yeah.
My mother's grandfather.
I mean, you guys, the comic open of the Avengers, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, cinematic universe. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Tyrone.
We want that to happen too. Let's be clear.
Tyrone, this thing is useless, so I'm gonna go get some proper towels.
Olivia
Something a little
Holt.
more absorbing. Absorbative.
Of Disney fame.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
And I love that Disney Channel stars are still under the Disney brand, but doing Marvel, so they have like a natural progression.
They also bring their whole fan base.
Yeah. So the show's got that audience.
Yeah, because kids grow up.
And there you go.
They become good fans.
That much power.
So I like that they chose. We have a very dim TV in the studio, but I like that they chose to have a actual scene from the show to set the tone. We're not getting a bunch of fast takes. We're not getting like a Michael Bay version of Cloak and Dagger. We're getting character drama.
Yeah, and I think this is a very lovely intro for the two of them, for Tyrone and Tandy, right?
Tandy Newton, yeah.
Tandy, yeah.
No, that's Tandy Newton. I like Tandy Bowen. I was like, yeah, no, Tandy Newton for sure. Oh, and like it's a love story at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Cloak and Dagger's about symbiosis.
Yeah, because in the comic book they have it where she just basically runs away and gets off the bus, and Tyrone's homeless. And then they kind of hit it off like that, and it's like, I prefer this. Where she stole his wallet.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah, not only that, but she was going after somebody else's wallet too when he caught her.
I like that twist because they stereotypically had her as the cheerleader in a lot of the versions. I'd much rather see her
kicking back.
Yeah, like having levels beyond blonde girl.
Yeah. And then this, you get to the good stuff right away.
Nice. Yeah, they just dove right in. So they're going more cosmic entity than genetic altering. Because there's so many origins of Cloak and Dagger, because the 70s had a lot of writers just throwing stuff at each other.
And it's like, what the heck?
Yeah. All right, so you had your slow burn intro. You had your slight origin. It leaves you hanging. It, there's that last minute runaway moment. I'm gonna keep doing it the whole episode. So I'm excited. I love Cloak and Dagger. For me, it was Maximum Carnage introduced me to Cloak and Dagger back in the 90s. Cloak and Dagger jumping in Maximum Carnage was like, who are these folks? And then they were like this amazing Romeo and Juliet meets. I love that their powers reflect each other. I love that they both need each other and they both need each other. Like I always thought that was such a beautiful kinship. So I'm excited for the show, and the cast is great. And like we said, the transfer from Disney is like logical and fantastic. What do you guys think of the show?
Looks good, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, we were talking earlier about the different genres that exist under this whole superhero umbrella, but you know, it kind of felt a little like our show.
It definitely does.
The way they approach the music and the way it was shot. And who knows? Maybe this is another little genre that's popping up.
Well, it's this
under
young
here.
audience.
Yeah.
You know, they're really catering to, but also making sure that the fans of the original source material are happy too. So it's a big challenge for television producers, but they're doing a good job.
Yeah,
I can't imagine the stakes. Like, can you imagine me and the guys in the writing room at the beginning, or the producers greenlighting stuff and saying yes and no? Because there's so much source material. You've got like 40 years of like which one do you pick? So that's a lot of pressure.
And I gotta say, watching that clip, it made me feel like I got a great sense of intimacy between everything and the chemistry between the two characters.
And that's the most important thing, I think. With those
yeah, there was instant chemistry.
Yeah,
the actors were sweet too.
Yeah.
I knew Olivia Holt just because of my Disney background at Lab Rats, and so we were sort of sister shows. She was on Kickin' It, and then she had her own show after that. But so I knew her, but then we got to meet what's the actor's name? The boy.
Oh,
I don't know. That's top of my head.
Ollie, our chat room. Can you hook us up with that?
Aubrey Joseph.
Thank you.
We got to meet him at the international upfronts, and they just make a great team. You could tell that they really had a mutual respect for each other, and we're very excited about the show. And this is 6 months ago.
Yeah.
All right.
The build-up's been great.
Maybe more.
Yeah,
maybe more. It was before we started production of Runaways. It was right after we were all picked up to series, so it might have been 9 months ago.
July, somewhere.
And they just announced another cast member. So, I mean, this thing is definitely growing. It's moving. Emma Lahana, I'm guessing is how you pronounce the last name.
I would think Lahana.
Sounds good.
Of Power Rangers fame, was just added. She celebrated the casting without disclosing the role, and that is always, I think, the move.
Nice.
Be excited. Don't give us too much. I'd like to watch the show and find out for myself.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
Exactly, and lawyers are happy. Nobody gets because Marvel, those snipers on you.
We brought them with us. You didn't see
That's why I'm
right
like, Lahana, right? And I said it right, please. I'm so sorry.
I was wondering what that red dot was.
You beat me to it, Anthony. You beat me to it.
Kevin Feige waits. He just waits. Speaking of characters that are long overdue to be in film, Black Widow is unbelievably getting her first movie.
I thought you were going to say Storm. Never mind.
No, we talk about that every week. This one's actually got a happy ending. This one's actually got a period on it.
I love
yeah,
this.
That's the difference.
Yes, that this is something great.
Every week, Marquis and I have this long rant about why Storm has the best origin for cinema, a great power set for cinema, a different genre for cinema, a different type of movie in the superhero genre separate of that other genre, a great casting, an unbelievably long history of not getting the right person in the role at the wrong time. There's a lot of reasons Storm works, guys. Yeah. But in the meantime, Black Widow.
Yes, indeed.
Black Widow has been with the Avengers since Iron Man 2. I'm doing that one Marvel movie a week thing, so I'm watching a Marvel movie a week leading up to the moment Infinity War drops. I just watched Iron Man 2. Black Widow is one of the few really solid things in that movie. Iron Man 2 has a lot of like ups and downs. Black Widow needed a movie like then. And it doesn't make sense that we've waited till 2020 to have Black Widow after she's been in so many movies. Yeah. And the character, we've hinted at like the Renner backstory. We've hinted at her Red Room experiences. We've hinted at all these things.
Budapest. What happened in Budapest?
Yeah, like we keep getting these little samples, and you got Scarlett Johansson, who's so good as Black Widow. So finally, with a pay bump, she's getting paid a reported $25 million, which is some that's some 90s Jim Carrey money. Yeah. So like I'm excited for not only this movie existing, but Scarlett Johansson gets to be like, hey guys, this is overdue. It makes sense. It's overdue. It's needed. $25 million. Black Widow movie 2020. Those are the rumors. What do you guys think about a Black Widow movie?
Really cool, man. She's been a consistent, steadying force in all of these movies. I loved her in Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah, she was good.
So good, Winter Soldier, and it's cool. Shout out Washington D.C. Seeing it all the time. But yeah. Scarlett kills it. So
she deserves it.
Absolutely, she's putting in a lot of work.
She is a movie star.
Yeah.
Yes, legit.
Yeah, legitimately. Get paid what you're worth.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
she opens movies. She runs movies. She deserves this.
Yeah.
Like,
does this deconfirm her?
No. She's a Skrull because of this. That's what my next tangent was. Because of this. This is explaining how she's been a Skrull the whole time.
Okay.
Okay, this movie, after Winter Soldier, she says I'm gonna hide away for a while. She's back in the next movie. Her hair is different. She acts different. She walks different. Mannerisms are different. She's a Skrull after Winter Soldier throughout canon and Marvel. This movie is after we find out she's a Skrull winning the Infinity Wars, and it's telling us where Black Widow's been, her story's in hiding, flashbacks to Budapest, and then where she goes from there. That's what I'd do with a Black Widow movie. Because she's a Skrull.
Yeah.
Right.
I was
seems pretty positive.
Yeah, pretty positive.
I'm looking at him and I'm very close to him, and he seems
There's so much zeal about this.
very positive about that.
So, I mean, I think it makes sense, and I also think it's a great way to have Captain Marvel as a flashback to the 90s, which we'll get to later in this, and having the Skrulls introduced there gives you so much fun to play with chronology, and that's one of the fun things about comics is you can be like, oh, this issue's set in 1977.
Yeah.
This movie's set in the past. There's so much fun you can do. That's what I would do with Black Widow. Keep your audiences guessing, play with that CGI, play with the timelessness. Like, that'd be fun for me.
Yeah, that's fun for everybody.
Yeah.
Because then the costume designer gets in there. You know, you can do some fun stuff with shots and with maybe using actual cameras from that era if you really want to go that far. I mean, that's just fun for everybody.
And pay your actresses $25 million. About time.
Yes. Pay them what they're worth. Even if you don't like them, pay them what they're worth. They're artists.
I always think, who's writing that check? You know?
Who's like, this is the right call?
How do I get that job? The person that writes that check?
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. Comma.
That's generational wealth right
there. Because they have a few more zeros in their bank account.
Yes.
So also, the CAA agent that gets to go like 10%.
I know.
The people putting those checks and then mailing them back out. That's a fun job, too. In the world of giant scope, Infinity War, they're discussing Nomad rumors. There's a few direct quotes out there. Stuff's been, gestating for a while. I still think he's Nomad. They're denying he's Nomad. What else are you going to do but deny he's Nomad? You got cap and a beard, debadged like a Honda Civic. The dude is like definitely not repping America, and when he decides he's not repping America in the comics, they call him Nomad. There's a reason, and also he feels betrayed. He feels like he doesn't have a team. He feels like he needs to assemble a new team. There's a lot of turmoil within Cap, and his arc through the movies has been incredible, and Chris Evans has really made Cap so much more fleshed out than a lot of the comics give him a chance to. I think the next logical step, much like Iron Man 3 allowed PTSD Downey to really flesh himself out, is to go Nomad. So I think that's what Infinity War is going to be, regardless of the public statements. What do you guys think?
Makes sense, as long as we don't get that Nomad costume.
They know better, I think. I hope.
Yeah. But yeah, it absolutely makes sense. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal that he left that shield in Civil War. Yeah, you know, it's the symbolism of that, of him dropping that shield and of that star being absent from his chest. It can't be accidental. So I'm with you. You almost got me on Camp Black Widow Scroll. You almost got me there.
I like how you were like processing it for.
But no, I'm Camp Nomad with you.
Yeah, okay,
for sure.
I got you. Yeah, these are my 2 pictures of the show.
Yeah. There you go. Something that I say for Infinity War Angel is that I just call it the Everybody Dies movie.
Oh,
so
everybody's dead.
Everybody dies. It's like everybody dies. We'll find out that all these people are Skrulls, but they'll all be dead.
Every chins just grow, they turn green. Ooh.
Yeah, like
we also very quickly have a photo from Jessica Jones season 2.
There's my girl.
Like this first season was the kind of the bar Netflix set. I feel like everybody like looks back at like Jessica Jones showed not just comic audiences but just Netflix viewers what these TV shows can be if you like let the gloves off a little bit. And Punisher definitely followed up with that. So I'm excited for season 2 of the show that really changed the game with the Netflix genre. I love Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. She's fantastic, and this is such a powerhouse pose.
I very much appreciated the show with the care that it took with PTSD and like nuance. And I really believe that just expanded the Marvel Netflix world from that point on. I mean, could we have had the Punisher that we did if we didn't have Jessica Jones first?
I don't think so. I don't think they would have trusted the audiences to enjoy it as much. Like, it's a they're both slow-paced shows. They're both thoughtful. They're both dialogue-heavy. And they're superhero shows. That's brilliant.
She's a cool girl, too. I know her. She's great.
Yeah?
She's so tall.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
And super skinny.
Yeah.
Really? In my head, she's so small.
No, she's got that porcelain skin. She's very petite, but no, she's tall.
Yeah, she's like, because I joke that I drink coffee in the Marvel Universe, because I feel like whenever I end up getting coffee, I run into someone from one of the Marvel Netflix shows.
You're not on coffee right now?
Oh, I'm made of coffee.
Oh, okay.
This is me on like decaf. No, I'm powering through to get to Runaways. I want to talk about it. So she gets coffee, and like when she walked in, I was just like, I knew Jessica Jones was like this powerful like character. I didn't realize the actors playing her were like walked into the room and was like, oh, that's Jessica Jones. Like she just has that, and it's amazing.
Well, everyone's tall to me, so I don't know how tall she is, but
she's Jessica Jones in real life.
Yeah.
We're watching Breaking Bad again. That's Jessica Jones and Jesse Pinkman. They're hanging out.
Why couldn't you just lean her to the side?
Let her serve her. Just a little nudge.
Because he's Lex Luthor. Another one I want to cast. Inhumans.
That's a good cast.
He's pretty solid. Surprise, surprise, Inhumans has been canceled.
No.
Reportedly.
No, it hasn't.
Reportedly
If you go to the
canceled.
Inhumans website, the portal says error 404. That's not a good sign, guys.
No.
That's a 90s cancellation notice. That's some like AOL dial-up way to let you know your cast is let go. Like that's cold-blooded.
Or maybe they were putting something in bold and then they did the wrong HTML somewhere.
Yeah,
that's
glitch.
There's been some petitions though. Some fans. There's a couple thousand signatures.
Dozens of people
for saying that they want it back.
All their parents, their mom.
Inhumans was the one show that when I went into it, I wanted it to be not what I expected. Much like The Gifted was a show that I didn't expect a lot of because they didn't use my X-Men, and then it surprised me. Inhumans had so much potential and had a great team of actors and behind-the-line crew. Like, I really love the Kirby Inhumans, and that wasn't what they presented, so I think that fans kind of showed that we wanted the show that we were optioned. We were told we could have the show.
We wanted Inhumans, and it was more of a... It was a 90s sci-fi drama, which is kind of what we got, but minus a lot of the sci-fi.
And I think that it's not any one. I'm not mad at Marvel. I'm not mad at ABC. I don't think that it's. You have to fall at some point. Like there's going to be a stumble. We've had like 20 solid properties. At one point, you're going to make the wrong decision. So I really think Inhumans just was the first time I was like, okay, let's do something different.
Ouch! I just think of the actors, man.
I feel so bad.
It's fine. You get a Marvel show. It's on a network, and
I can't imagine. Truly,
I can't. Oh. Oh,
and some great actors in that show.
Oh,
And
fantastic
really
actors.
good
Yes.
My goodness.
I mean, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, but Maximus.
Yeah, so it's a shame.
Ramsey.
If that is
Ramsey
true.
Bolton.
Yes, Ramsey Bolton.
If it is in fact canceled, it's a shame. But we have other shows like Runaways to talk about.
Yeah. But for
Let's jump into another great show on another network.
yeah, there is a really great show that you should be watching. I watched it last week. If you follow me on Twitter, then you know that I'm all about this show. So it's Black Lightning. So Tuesday, when the CW's newest superhero suits up, lightning's gonna strike. Don't miss the new hit series, Black Lightning. AKA Jefferson Pierce. He's previously powered down his crime-fighting career and for the last 9 years has been saving lives the best way he knew how, as principal of a local high school. But in this city, when the hero's away, the gangs will play. And this dude's a family man, so when his daughters get caught in the crosshairs, it's time to take charge. Now the former hero is back in full force for a second round against corruption and violence, because lightning does strike twice. It's dark days for the city of Freeland, but the storm is coming when Black Lightning brings his power to the people. It is full of puns, and I'm all about this. Critics are saying Black Lightning is positive, victorious, badass, like no other superhero show we've seen. The New York Post says it's an entertaining, edgy piece of escapism. But Tuesday, the world will know Black Lightning, an all-new episode after The Flash, only on the CW. So that will be tonight. And I challenge you, if you have not seen Black Lightning, you can see it on the CW app for free, the first episode. Just watch the first 5 minutes. See if you want to keep on watching. You will.
You will. Now, I wanted her to have a pun-tastic time with that. I really enjoy the zeal that comes out of her with the puns. So
You got a second career in
Yeah.
trailer voice.
Yeah, I was going to say.
there's your sound bites. The play over just show clips of Marquia narrating. And two things I am very zealous about, with no exaggeration, are self-sustainable food and taking care of the environment while feeding ourselves. And I think that Blue Apron is one of the few companies that focuses on that while delivering quality food. Blue Apron is just good quality food, and I love that it brings families together because it's meals of two and it teaches you as you go along. So
We do it. I do it.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
And like you learn,
It was my Christmas gift to everybody this year too.
and you learn new meals.
Nice.
Like
To all
you
my
learn-
in-laws, I gave them Blue Apron.
I didn't know I love lemongrass, and I love lemongrass. Like it taught me lemongrass is delicious.
I didn't know I liked farro until I had Blue Apron.
Yeah, and then you feel fancy. Like,
Oh, you
Yeah,
feel
it's
this
so
is like meal I
fancy.
prepared.
The fact that I'm like, I know I like lemongrass. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like I know what
yeah.
heirloom greens are now. I'm so healthy.
You know all
We
the
got to
dates.
talk about
yeah.
Pharaoh.
Ooh, it's so good.
It's a conversation starter.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So Blue Apron is the #1 meal delivery service. It is locally sourced food. It is sustainable meals. It is food that is quality and quantity. You get a full meal. You build it yourself. You spend time with your family. You make it, and it's good. And one of the things that I do is I live alone. Me and my girlfriend make meals all the time, but I live alone. So when I make one and she's not around, I make it. And there's homeless people in my neighborhood, so I bring one and I learn all about these awesome people. And it's really cool to make a really good meal for someone you don't even know, because the conversations that come out of that are real. You're not just giving someone $1 or $5. You're sharing an experience with them. So it's my favorite thing to do with the 2-person meals. I recommend it. And there's also family plans. There's a wine plan. They've got all sorts of stuff coming up. And like, for example, the week right now, they have a Whole30 approved seared steak and warm lemon salsa verde. Yes. A Whole30 approved chicken and kale orange salad spicy tahini dressing, a spicy pork Korean rice cakes with baby bok choy, and a vegetable fried rice with Tagarashi peanuts.
Hey now, what
There's
you know
so
about
many
Tagarashi
favorite
peanuts? What you know?
Kashigari.
Half of those words I didn't know.
Shashagasi.
Tagarashi?
Yeah, sure.
So,
Tamagotchi.
Try out Blue Apron. They're delicious. And if you go to blueapron.com/Marvel, we'll give you $30 off your first order and free shipping. So that's like a free set of meals and free shipping. It's a great, there's nothing to lose. You got convenience, you got variety, you got flexibility, you got quality. Do it. blueapron.com/Marvel. And finally, MVMT watches. I've been wearing them for years. In like regular life, before this show, after the show. I actually got my dad one for Christmas, and then we got this sponsored, so I feel like I should figure that out. MVMT is a couple of college kids that realized, hey, we want to look awesome, and watches are great, but we can't afford to go to your local whatever store and spend $600 on a watch, so they cut out the middleman, and it is now direct from you from them. So you get a watch that is no like upcharge. You get a watch that is the same quality without having to pay to keep the lights on at a store, without having to pay a salesperson to rip you off, without having to pay someone to tell you why it's great. You know it's great. Look at it. So MVMT has a great Valentine's Day special through us. They give you 15% off and free shipping if you go to mvmt.com/Marvel. It is a lot of just really lean minimalist watches, so you can really see it, up to like crazy like chromatic nautical looking, like you've got a range of watches.
And let me tell you, the compliment game is real when you're wearing one of these watches.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's
like
so good.
They're $700 watches for anywhere from $100 to $150. Like I like getting sponsors that I actually care about because I can be zealous on my own. These guys are great, and they've done a really cool thing with having watches.
I like your zeal. I'd like to say that.
Thank you.
I'd like to see your non-coffee zeal, because then I can really trust it.
To know what the zeal is. To be fair,
this is me on 2 cups of coffee. We had a cup of coffee, so I stay pretty zen, but.
I had 3 hours sleep, and I was lost in an airport.
This is
and
no sleep zeal.
Yes.
I want to know what sleep zeal is.
2 of my bags are in Colorado. Like, I literally have no idea what my life is. But zeal is there because MVMT, Blue Apron, and Marvel. So, before we land at Runaways, I need to briefly say, because Spider-Man's my boy, that they're casting a femme fatale for Spider-Man Homecoming 2.
Hey.
And that is intriguing because these kids are in high school. Like, are they going to start to play with the, like, not necessarily Black Widow relationship, not necessarily, Black Cat, but are they going to play with the idea of Spider-Man love interest betraying him being in high school? Are they going to play with, like, Silver Sable's getting her own movie? Are they going to play with that idea with the Peter Parker? Like, I'm really intrigued by a mysterious European young lady that will likely lead Spider-Man into trouble. Because that sounds like Silver Sable, but she's got her own movie. What does it mean? So this is my intrigue of the week. I would love to hear your opinions. I could talk about it for the rest of the show, but I won't. So tweet me. Let me know who you think it is. I think it might be a young Silver Sable leading into the other movie, and I think these movies are way more connected than telling us, which leads us into Venom has Peter Parker in it, we think. John Schnepp, friend of the show, and crazy madman of Metalocalypse, said on Collider Heroes that Tom Holland was on set filming scenes on Venom for at least 2 days as Peter Parker. I'm not saying that Spider-Man is in the film when I say that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is in the film. I'm saying Peter Parker is in that film and that it's a cameo. I think they're both in the film. I think that we are going to be surprised by the Sony universe being a very much Spider-Man shared cinematic universe. I think it's been very smart to have us complain about Spider-Man on it, because look how much we talk about it. I think that it is the only way to really make everyone happy, and I think it is a waste of Tom Holland to not have the both involved. What do you guys think about the Spider-Man world?
Well, Spider-Man has been my dude from a long time ago, way back. So yeah, man, and I think Tom Holland is killing it in the role. So yeah, it makes sense, and I mean, for it to be a surprise, for them to kind of keep it under wraps, whether or not it's Spider-Man, it's good.
That means it's
good.
happening.
It's good.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's good marketing.
There you
So
go.
yeah, I would love to see him make a cameo in there.
So, and the fact that the suit CGI, you can really just have the voice of Tom Holland. Like, you can make this work in today's climate. So, I'm excited about that. And we land finally on Captain Marvel pictures. We're going to power through these because I want to talk Runaways, and I've been coffeeing through. We have the first shots of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. They're paparazzi shots, which are not my jam because I think that's a scary profession. We have...
Yeah, it basically shows them on a street, for our iTunes listeners. It shows them on a street. It's Nick Fury, but he has an eye patch on. So there is that. And he's for Captain Marvel. It's basically just them walking.
Yeah,
So.
these are just like the first images are exciting because they're the first, but we wouldn't normally report on them if they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a second image that we have from Just Jared, he is Sans eye patch. So
Intrigue.
do with that
His
what you
eyes
will.
started sweating. He's just, I gotta take this off in
BTS.
between takes. We're just rehearsing right now.
Eye patch Origins Wolverine. So we have the first images of both Nick Fury in a long time. We've got Brie Larson on set. Can we go to the ones where she is all militaried up and looking like Captain Marvel and just being awesome? Also, I love her. I love that she left How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother ended, and then we got her in the Marvel universe because she's fantastic. Look at this shot. That's Captain Marvel. Like,
yeah, she went to was it Air Force Base, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing Brie Larson in a
Nellis
flight
Air
suit.
Force Base in Las Vegas.
She's
Nevada.
a great actress.
Yeah, she is.
Great actress.
And this just feels like the comics. Like, there's something about the simplicity of a flight suit and Brie Larson and a jet.
Yeah,
That's
and the
just...
thing that I really enjoy about her, well, a lot of things to enjoy, but on Twitter, she's very socially, she has a social conscience, and she's utilizing her platform to then reach out to other people.
Yeah.
And she has the time. I'm like, I get on Twitter, I don't have the time. So I tweet fun stuff, and then like my Facebook is for, what's going on here? But yeah, no, she has the time to put that forward. She's making the world a better place.
I agree. Yeah. She seems fantastic as a human and an actress. So I appreciate that.
Also making the world a better place
is Marvel's Runaways.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right.
You made it. it.
We got there, guys.
We did it.
Okay, now Marvel's Runaways had its finale a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And it was basically the moment that everyone that was complaining about pacing landed at. And it was the moment that every Runaways comic fan was waiting for. And I think we, in this format, earned that runaway in such a really cool way. And I just want to talk about the shot. With the first time you guys saw them running down that alleyway with Old Lace chasing behind them, full CG.
So good. Well, I saw it before the CG because I saw it in ADR where we sort of fix all the sound, and they're all, we're done with the final scene. You know, do you want to see it? And I was like, yes, yes. And I'm just in the booth. I'm like, yeah. So for every fan that was complaining, just have them run away. Just have them run. I know we saved it for the last shot of the last episode. I'm very sorry, but it was cool. I mean, even the footprint of Old Lace into the water was just in her tail. I mean, come on.
Old Lace
worth
looked
the wait.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was a little digital doll at that point. So, because that was put in. A lot of times it's an actual puppet.
The practical puppet was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a practical puppet, but yeah, that it was worth it, worth the wait.
So Runaways is a show that is weekly released, except for those first few, and I love binging, but this show I really like the pace. I really like the waiting week to week. I really like that. But this was the first time I waited and watched the last two together, because I love that movie. I love that 2-hour chunk. And the cinematic feel of that final fight. What was that like on set? What was it like to know you were making something so powerful?
I think we're still there. Aren't we still
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, you have to understand there's so many of us. There's 16 series regulars, plus we had Jonah out there, and so that's...
And Old Lace.
So that's 17, 18 characters. You have to cover them all. You have to, you know, we're shooting that downtown near Skid Row in the middle of the night. So, you know, about 4 a.m., you don't really care about that staff of one. You know, when Tina has to catch the staff of one and walk, that takes time. It's got to come to, like, that was not CGI. She had to catch it.
It took a little while.
That's cool.
Yeah, no. That's
Brittany
all.
killed it, though.
Yeah, Brittany, she did a good job. So we have fun, but those big action scenes take a very long time. It took us about a week to shoot that. And we shoot at night. We shoot when the sun goes down and when the sun comes up. So a little bit of stuff, but they break it all down. The lights are there, you know, when they glow with the under the costume, everything. It's very cool. They did not spare any expense on that. And then they added things later, so that was cool too for us, just to finally see it and see how large the scale was, because we're just looking up at something. We don't know.
Look up there.
Look up at that window. Like, what are you looking? You looking at that cloud right there? Okay, I'm gonna look at that cloud. That what you know.
The ground is shaking.
Yeah. Ooh, the ground is shaking. And then things get cut. You know, of course, we shoot a lot more than you guys end up seeing. There was a lot more humor when we shot it, and I think when they aired it, it didn't need the humor there. So. It was great.
Oh, the gun pull.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. No.
Jeffrey was almost gonna pull his gun out on.
Yeah.
Oh.
We got to save that for season 2.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like to know that. That's
well, Ryan's always trying to infuse heart into Jeffrey, and
he's a big bald teddy bear.
Shout out Kevin Osborne. I know, but then. You know, every now and then Jeffrey just has to get down. So,
well, the Jeffrey in the comics we talked about this when you were on is such a different version of the character. The Jeffrey in the comics is very much a scowl personified.
Yeah, and even when he comes back.
Yeah,
you know, it's just...
the way they draw him.
Exactly,
he stays in that like mannerism as a person. And it was really funny for me when I met Ryan the first time. It's like Ryan's like a friendly guy.
Yeah,
I hadn't seen him like as a friendly guy. So like I'd seen him like at social media. I'd seen him as Jeffrey. And it was really funny seeing how he landed in the series. Is you have to start really liking him because these characters are the ones that are the most quasi-diabolical. Like in the comics, these are the badder characters. So in the show, I love that they gave you guys almost the most to play with the father-son, the mother-son relationship, and you guys really made Alex feel more full because of the family dynamic. Like I felt like we could all live in that house.
Yeah. It also gives the storyline a place to go. You have to start somewhere. So if Jeffrey's very conflicted, or if Catherine's not conflicted and then becomes, you know, we sort of swapped feelings by the end of the season, then we're now a team and can move forward. And what are we going to do next in season 2? So.
Yeah, I loved seeing the different dimensions of, because the both of you together equaled a Kingpin-like character for me.
Oh, thanks.
So I really like the different dimensions of it. Was like soft, be like, hey, no, eat your breakfast. Be like, I just can't. I can't. He won't. You know, that was. I really enjoyed that. It was like a tenderness and a vulnerability because Alex is your soft spot for the both of you.
That's
but
the one. But also we'll bring Jeffrey back to his roots. So, don't mess with them. But we played them, as actors, we play them. You can do different takes, different ways, and so it's up to the editor and the producers on what they decide, and the director. So, for example, they would have me or Ryan do a scene, and then now this time let's play it with a little bit more strength, or this time be a bit more conflicted. And even my final audition they said, okay, try it this way. And it was the scene where I'm about to stab Molly they wanted to try it different ways. Okay, this time you want to kill her, this time you don't want to kill her, this time you're conflicted, this time it feels, just to make sure that we could do that as actors. And then that was really called upon us in shooting it as well. So then it's just up to the showrunners to decide how they want it to play.
Okay.
That's amazing as an actor to get that many opportunities to try.
Well, when I say you get one shot at each one, you better nail it.
82 takes, David Fincher
No,
style.
good sign if you're asked to.
Well, Team Wilder, as we call ourselves, we sometimes get the last shot of the day because we work very quickly and we can do a scene in 2 takes, 3 takes at the most. Sometimes 1 take, 1 shot, 1 setup. They're like, we got it, moving on.
Nice.
So they always, I think, liked putting us at. That's why we missed the Thor premiere.
That was such a funny thing. Like, are we gonna get? What time is it? What do we have left? What time is it? What do we have left? We're not going.
Yes, and other characters got to go, but we didn't get to make it because I'm like, they got the Wilders at the end.
What a compliment and loss.
I know. They're like, well, we can get this 4-page scene in an hour. Yep. Let's get the Wilders. Let's do that.
We got 45 minutes before we have to wrap. You guys ready to go?
Yes. For some scenes, they're taking apart the set as we're still shooting. I'm like, you guys, we're not done yet. We're not done yet.
For those that have never been on a set, that kind of speed is insane.
Yes.
Also,
it takes a that's why you're saying you were asking about the finale. That takes a week to shoot. Or at least it took us 3 days.
Yeah. It was that episode in 108 down in the with Victor getting shot and the aftermath. Like those were incredibly long days.
We were all in one set. That one, what was that? The Stein family garage.
In the laboratory.
In the lab. That was a week of shooting in that one.
That's actually, it's funny. That was the next thing I wanted to bring up. Was I loved the dynamic of all the characters when they were under duress about him being shot.
Yeah.
And you suddenly have like the volunteering as tribute, but no. And the dynamic between you two was suddenly like you against the world.
Yeah, we're like,
we're like,
well, that's what was going on.
That is what was going on.
As we were standing
back.
Away, it was just like,
we could just, which one of these cars should we get the Maybach and just bounce because everybody's going a little bit crazy, and I think we just need to tiptoe out of here.
And that translated so well, and that's something you can't get in the medium of comics. Like, you can't show a drawing of someone slightly behind someone to get the level of nuance as like when you're watching it.
No, it's like they were a unit. The others, they weren't. They're not.
Catherine has a lot to say in the first half of season 1, and toward the second half, Catherine's all of a sudden like, I done messed up. Molly's lied to me. I believed her. Like, what am I supposed to do? And then Jeffrey starts to kind of take over and take the reins, and I just think that's such a powerful dynamic within us as a couple that all of a sudden by the end, Jeffrey's like, no, I'm gonna. We're going to go to war. And Catherine looks him up and down and is like, okay, let's go to war. All right, you take the lead on this one, baby.
Well, it's a really fun dynamic of the Wilders relationship that this season we've both had to apologize to each other for dropping the ball. And the other person has reinforced, love and support and, and encouraging the other person. So it's cool. Even though we're, sacrificing teenagers.
No, but we're a team. And then when it comes to Alex, our son, and what his journey is going to be, especially people that know the source material and what happens and what his character, it will be interesting to see what our show does season 2 with him now working with who's your boy? Your old boy? Darius. So there's so many characters, and we know the real name because we know the actors. And then it's the character's name.
And his name's Devon. So
it's just like, what's his name? I want to be like the brother, the one.
Devon Nixon.
There's so many characters on our show, and that's a testament to our writers and our showrunners that they can actually clearly tell all these stories. It's insane. We have 20 characters, really, when you start counting Devon and Darius's character. And
Cody,
Molly's grandmother.
Oh
yeah. I feel like the second season she'll be, depending on which way they go with the story in the comic, and
I mean the cousin. The cousin from
She wasn't a
season one?
grandmother. She was like
She's
a
a family member. Family member.
In my brain, she's a grandmother. I don't know why I put her there, but she has that vibe. She's so maternal and like lovely. I love that actor. She was great.
Exactly. But yeah, there was the assistant to Leslie, the one with the coffee that.
That
sort of is running.
guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic.
I kind of wanted a like internet short with him.
Exactly.
It was just
well,
like
that's
him
what
doing his thing.
That was so great.
That would be cool.
That would be great.
Cool.
A little spinoff.
Yeah.
A little Daryl Thor Ragnarok.
Exactly. Where's his storyline going?
So that's about 5 minutes fast. We've got about 5 minutes left. I want to know if anyone in the live chat has a question for the Pride.
Ivan Soto in the chat wants to know, Angel and Ryan, are you rooting more so for the Pride or are you rooting for the Runaways? As fans of the show?
We root for ourselves. I feel like
Team Pride. Team Pride.
Yeah, no. I think the Wilders will bounce out from anybody as long as we're okay. So I'm like, we're gonna take the Maybach and just
yeah. Well, it's I'm biased. Yeah, I'm biased, but I love what our writers are doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you guys were talking about that final scene. Okay, I clapped. Yeah, I clapped in my house. I'm watching the show, and as they're running in that alley, I was just
like,
okay.
go.
So I'm nodding and smiling as they're running, and then once old Lace comes through, I'm like, yeah. So I'm definitely invested in their story, and to see these kids leave their mansions, leave their privileged childhoods to hit the streets. I'm very curious to see where that's going to go. And, not even worrying about what I know from the comics, but just to see this world that the show lives in, to see where they're going to go. And I'm crazy curious to see what this Pride thing looks like now, because it's fractured, and what the Wilders have, up their sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
So
going to war with Jonah, going to war with Pride, perhaps,
going to war with each other,
or using our alliances in the Pride to get things done. I mean, there's so many stories to tell. So we're excited to tell it. We're excited to meet the fans. It's really, we're very blessed and grateful to be a part of this.
Absolutely.
And hope it continues.
Season 2 is official. I've been lucky enough to meet so many Pride and Runaway members throughout the last few weeks, and
there's a lot of us.
There's so many.
You just throw us.
Go to your coffee shop.
I'll go to another one.
Yeah, exactly.
But everyone has the same feeling of family, and everyone has the same feeling of like they have so much respect and admiration for each other, and that's something that I think is really important on a show with this much of a.
It's a good group. It's a good group. We hang out in our off time. We've gone on vacation together already.
It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
We've done a lot, so it's a good group.
That's amazing. So we don't have time for shout outs this week because we are we gotta wrap it up, but it's my grandma's birthday, so happy birthday to my mama. I love you. Wanted to wrap with that real quick.
Yay.
And speaking of Runaways, I did an interview with Greg on Rogue Magazine that drops. It's either out now or next week, so check that out. We have more Runaways stuff to talk about. I love Runaways so much that it became like my go-to sit home and watch show.
I love it.
And it's a Marvel show that, like, by coincidence. Like, it wasn't because of that, and that made me real happy.
Well, good. Thank you.
Yeah, it goes into that genre talk that we were talking about before when they said was the OC of Marvel type of deal. Nailed it.
There you have
Nailed it.
And you guys really are in a cast of amazing actors, people that I loved seeing the characters like transcend the medium. So I really appreciate what you guys did with those roles.
You.
Yeah, you definitely fleshed out the adults for us.
And I had to wear that long ass ponytail. So.
That was the
I got my hair back. I was like, oh, thank God, my head hurts.
Me until season 2.
Thank goodness. Yes.
So thank you for making the Wilders what they are, and it was just beautiful to see these characters have those powerful arcs. And I cannot wait for season 2. And I really think you guys are part of something really special.
Yeah,
so
we got more episodes, so we got more story to tell.
Yeah, 13,
there you go.
episodes.
Yeah, and then more old Lace.
Oh, so good. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. We're gonna just speed wrap, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners.